All right, so one of the things that I've learned, one of the really, really cool things, one of the things that's really stuck with me and enlightened me, and brought a lot of awareness to my life is, looking through, as I've looked through human design and studied human design, I've been able to see how to apply the detailed level of knowledge and information that's available and that's there and apply that to different ways of seeing things. And one of the things that has always been there in my life and has always been a part of my life is education and educating in the next generation, or teaching people, or passing information on, or keeping the continuity of history alive. The things that kept us alive and that were successful for us in the past, yeah, let's bring those forward. And the things that weren't, let's leave those behind. That historical continuity of information that gets passed on through generations and through teaching is something that's always been there. And I've experienced teaching and learning public schools. I homeschool my son now. He's been in public school. I was a teacher. I was an administrator in public schools. All the things, all the different ways. And so um, I'd like to share with you one of the beautiful truths that mechanics have revealed about how people learn. Um, and one of the things that I've learned is that the generalized concepts that are mass produced in education, it's not that they don't work, or it's not that they aren't valuable or something like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not a moralist. I don't think things are good or bad. I just look at form, and I look at function, and I look at efficiency, and I look at how things are designed to operate based on how they're structured and what results come of that. Um, I'm a projector, and I look at systems, and so that's just part of me. And so um, one of the beautiful things that have been revealed is that there is a way to see the detail of how we as human beings are designed to interact with our environment, because that's what learning truly is. Learning isn't this go to school, listen, and regurgitate stuff. Everybody knows that. To some level, everybody knows that in their bones, that's it. That's a surface level. That's a surface level thing, and the depth. It's not that the surface level thing is wrong or bad. It's that it's lacking depth, and it's lacking precision, and it's lacking refinement, and it's lacking individual attention. Now, the systems that are there, it's not their fault. They weren't designed for that. This is not a bashing on the educational system. It's a wonderful system. I've been a part of it, and it serves a wonderful purpose, but it's not for everybody, and it doesn't serve everybody, and we know that, right? And so one of the things that have been revealed is just how to look at a human being and how they learn, how humans are designed to interact with their environment. On the left right here, you can see this is my human design chart. And one of the things that it's brought me is it's allowed me to see how I'm designed to interact in my environment. What environment is naturally safe and comforting and correct for me to learn in, and how I'm designed to interact in that environment. And it's much different than I thought. It's much different than I was taught. It's kind of funny, yeah. You know, um, I've learned that I'm a projector, which means I'm designed to look deeply at systems, and I'm not designed to grind and work every day with my body, my brain, and my vision, and my ability to use all of my energy to look at systems and look deeply at systems and how they function and how they work. And that's how I operate. That's how I learn. And I'm a passive learner. My brain operates when it's passive and receptive in nature, not focused and fixed on points. And that's one of the things that I've learned by looking at my chart and by studying human design. And as I've allowed myself to get into my own cave like environment, I have an environment that my body likes caves. It likes to have its back protected. Nothing can sneak up on it. Enclosed indoor environments where it can be passive and sit there and watch the few people that come in and out of it, and be passive and seeing what's going on, and can semi control the environment. And it feels safe that way. And when I'm in that environment, which is why I primarily work from home now, I homeschool my son from home, and I work with my wife's salon from home primarily, and most of my work is done from home because it's an environment that has allowed me to flourish in terms of my intellectual knowledge, in terms of my cognitive ability. When I got into my correct environment and I was able to watch things in a passive way and not have fixed points and goals for everything, the amount of information and the ability that I had to understand what I was dealing with in the outside, on the outside environment, in the world around me, from the people, from the things, from the information, from everything that's flooding us. As I got into more of my correct place as my correct self in my body and understood what my body and my brain was trying to do and where it was trying to be. And once I saw that and I accepted that and just tried it and allowed it to happen, the level of my understanding, the level of my learning went through the roof. And that's just my own experience. And that's one of the things that I've moved into. My son went to public school for years, and now he's being homeschooled because he wanted to move into an environment that was more natural for him. For example, he's not a projector, he's a generator. He needs to respond to things, and he's a special individual like a lot of individuals. He learns by making mistakes. He learns through trial and error. And he learns specifically, he finds out what things go wrong. He is the great discoverer of how to break things. And that becomes a problem when you're at certain schools, certain institutions, certain places where mistakes and breaking things, it's not like it's a bad thing. It's not like, hey, that kid is bad because he learns that way. It's just, there's not a lot of material. You can't just keep breaking things everywhere in the real physical world. And so we've started to use technology and a lot of different ways to allow him to get into an environment where he can experiment with physics-based things and learn and mix and see what happens and break and boom and do all these things with simulated environments as opposed to, the breaking and the burning and the exploding of the real world things that, can cause damage and harm and things like that to people. And so it's a way of not changing the information, not changing the information that, a person gets. It's understanding how they work best, their body works best and their brain works best in their environment, and then slowly building those environments around them and watching the learning happen, because the learning just happens. When the environment's right and the form and the body are right, learning just happens. It's a result. Learning cannot be forced. It can be perceived. It can be there. It can just be there when the body and the form are correct. It's there, and it doesn't have to be forced. All of the forced education results in very limited amounts of understanding. And it's not hard to see that when you look at all the test scores and you look at all the nonsense that's going on in how schools are recording progress. There are so many kids in the schools now that are right, receptive beings, and their brains operate like mine, and they operate in a passive receptive way, and they are super, 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 super sensitive to the environment and the stimuli in the environment, and they are getting bombarded in these schools with all of these kids and all of these emotions and all of these fast-paced points and focus and this and that. Part of the kids in the school can work with that because their brains are designed that way, and they can focus and they can do that, and that's actually great for them, and they work well that way. Other people don't. And those other people that don't, man, they suffer. And you see it, you see it, you see it, you see it, and it is obvious. It's obvious that they suffer, and it's not obvious to most people why.